This episode of the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast is brought to you by the Podcast Reach System. Are you ready to exponentially reach more profitable customers? Launching and hosting your own show is your proven best solution for networking, client attraction, and establishing your celebrity expert brand. Visit www.podcastreachsystem.com and claim your rightful place as the leading star of your industry so you make a difference for your community, market, and audience. Welcome to the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I am your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. I'm joined by our co-host, Princess Alessandra Francesca, who likes to roam around in front of the camera but doesn't like to be held very much. It's gotten to the point where she knows to appear at this juncture so that I can introduce her. She's also in the credits if you're watching this on our website or on our companion YouTube video channel. The Brilliance Plus Passion Project is all about highlighting folks who make the world a better place by being part of it and by their contributions to it. And I'm so honored today to feature somebody who's been a friend of mine for a long time, who's been a guest on my other podcast, the Business Creators Radio Show, and is certainly somebody that you will enjoy learning from. His name is David Brown. There's a good chance you've seen him around the social media beat because he's pretty much everywhere. He's known as the Business Plan Answer Man, and he's going to tell us more about it. He's been doing this for about 35 years now, and I'm familiar with his tactics. I'm familiar with his strategy. I'm familiar with his model, and he's going to tell us a bit about it. So, David Brown, it's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Same here, Adam. I always enjoy get a chance to come together and share some ideas.
All right, so let's kick right off. How does the work you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
Well, I help them realize their dream of starting a business, making sure that what they have as an idea is feasible and how we go about moving it forward. And so that way they're ready to go. They've got everything documented and a path to follow.
Yeah, so I mean, I know what a business plan is, obviously, but tell us in your own words, what is it that you actually do? What is it that you actually offer?
Well, a lot of people have this great idea in their head for a business. And so we try to figure out, how do we take that plan from here, put it down on paper? Then the next step of that is, how do we go about implementing the plan we just created?
Yeah.
So we walk through all of the steps to document that plan, that idea, and then move it forward, because there's so many moving parts when we start a business to make sure that everybody has that track to follow. So it just creates a map is the easiest way to do it. Just like going on vacation, we have a map where we're going. Business is no different.
Yeah. So you're famed for the one-page business plan. Now, I remember when I was in MBA school, 2 of my classes involved creating business plans, and these were basically books. But you have it condensed down to 1 page. How does that work?
Well, I've found some templates that I like to use and modified it to where I'm comfortable. But I use a little bit of both, traditional business plan, as you mentioned, down to 1 page. It just depends on the need of the business. I've seen business plans on cocktail napkins. I wouldn't recommend it, but I've seen them.
Right.
It's just a matter of what they need. And sometimes, because it's just us, we're not seeking finance, we can get by with some detail on a page.
Exactly. In your experience, David, what are a few of the most common questions, like the FAQs, that people have when they're checking you out and working toward their decision toward working with you?
Well, one of the things is big question I get is, why do I need a business plan? I know how to run a business.
Okay.
All right. Well, the response for that is we're bombarded daily by over 5,000 marketing messages. On top of that, we have all these internal thoughts going. And for me, if I had to depend on what's in my head, I wouldn't have anything, because there's days I'm brain dead because of everything coming through.
Sure.
So having it written down for any business, it just increases your chances of success. And then the next one I hear a lot is there any type of business that shouldn't have one? And that's the quick answer is no. Whether it's just you and your short term or you going in for financing, either one of those would preclude having a business plan. You need to have it in writing.
What are a couple questions you wish people would ask?
Well, I wish they'd ask about my background with the business and how I got involved with the business planning. And it stems back to 35 plus years as an entrepreneur and business owner, that I've learned to create the pieces. And then when I was working with some newer agents, they says, "Oh, you should be teaching this." And then the light bulb went off, and here I am today. Changed careers many years ago, and so we moved it forward. And then the other one is, what kind of outcome are we going to have? What am I going to get when we're done working together? Well, we're going to be working together for a while. It's just that we're going to have that plan of the business, and then we're going to have an action plan to implement it. And then I'll keep in touch just to see what's going on, how you're doing, any questions, and I like to move them forward. So those are the two biggest ones I wish they'd ask more of.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're going to shift gears a little bit. And this is where we get to have some fun and discover more about David Brown, the man. First question in this section: what would people who know you be surprised to learn about you?
Well, not many people know that I actually am ordained.
Okay.
There's a story that goes behind that. Is I was relaxing one night on the deck a few years back, and my daughter and her friend were over, and says, "Hey," he says, "you need to get ordained like your brother so that you can do her best friend's wedding." So I'm sitting out there with my laptop, and I Googled ordained. All the list popped up. I went in, typed one, filled it in, and an autoresponder says, "You're now ordained."
Well, congratulations,
And
Reverend
so
Brown.
So I've done a few weddings since then. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, I'm in Las Vegas, known to some as the hottest city in America. And around these parts, you can get a wedding through the drive-thru officiated by none other than Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I've got to officiate my daughter's own wedding too. So
right.
That was very special to me.
The reason I bring that up is actually because I find this story remarkable. And, for folks who want to have a different type of meaning for their nuptials, that they can have someone like you be the officiant. You just mentioned that your daughter had you officiate her wedding. We've seen these models for what weddings are supposed to be, but I think that's just uniquely beautiful that you had the opportunity to be involved at that level in your daughter's wedding, and not a lot of guys get that opportunity.
No, I was very touched, and they had it in a botanical gardens.
Yeah, wow, and that's even better yet.
Traditional weddings, so we were outside in a beautiful weather, and got to do that wedding. And like I say, and then her best friend was the first one I did, and it was something unique I'd never done before, but I enjoy it. So it's something that I continue to do when called upon.
Yeah, great. What do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
Well, hopefully it's all good things. But I would just say that, he was a caring person that believed in helping people and giving back to the community. I'm involved in many different avenues around the community and doing different things and learning along my way. But that would be the biggest thing, that, I cared about people, and it was all about them and not about me.
Yeah. What famous, I'm skipping ahead here. Number 7, if you could go back in time and change one thing you've done, one thing you've seen, one thing you've experienced, what would it be and why?
Well, I thought hard and long about, this topic over the years. And there's a lot of things that, we all say we wish we'd have done different. Well, the biggest thing for me was early in my career would have been a different mindset because I was my own worst enemy early on as a business owner and entrepreneur, that I couldn't get out of my own way. And I had a more leaning towards the negative attitude than the positive. And everything I've learned more in the last 10, 12 years since I retired from insurance than I had that 25 years prior. But I have a different mindset just because that positive focus takes you so much farther than sitting back and complain about this and complain about that, which they say we're all guilty of.
Right. All right. So what famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? And if you had the opportunity, what question would you have for them?
Oh, famous. It has to be famous. Okay. I would look back probably to Abraham Lincoln because he was the great unifier. And he brought the country together at that time with all the turmoil that was going on. And I think in this day and age, being able to unify people instead of everybody mad at everybody and fighting them, I just think that his take on how we could come out better in the end would be very interesting to learn.
Yeah, I think I think it's, for those who've studied Lincoln, it's not quite the cut and dried story that they tell in third grade history class, but the real story of how he arrived at where he ended up in terms of his actions as president of the United States is an even more fascinating story, and to me tells more about the innate good of the human character. What will also be interesting to me, if I had the chance to sit down with Honest Abe, is that man liked cats as much as I do. We would have some great conversations about our cats.
Just stay away from the theater.
Exactly, yes.
But I think that how he rose from the poverty to the president of the United States would be an incredible story all by itself.
Yeah, he's one of the few actual self-made men to become president. I mean, in that little town that he was born in, his father was considered a big fish in a small pond, but that pond was basically a pothole. So he truly did rise from basically nothing all the way to the presidency of the United States, and that is quite a walk. So what motivates and inspires you to keep going when you're having a tough time or facing a challenge?
No, that's a fairly easy one. I have my best supporter, which is my wife.
Yeah.
She's there. She's my cheerleader, the best friend. We've been together for many years and went through a lot of experiences, good, bad, sickness, health, you name it, all the way through the vows. But she's not afraid to be my chief boot trainer, as it were, and put one across the backside if I get down, because I tend to do that once in a while ever since I've had a big health issues. And so she just kicks me in the backside, keep going, you can do this, and cheers me on. And I wouldn't be where I am today without her.
I've seen you post so much on Facebook and I think on LinkedIn as well about your wife, your family, and just through some of the comments we've had through this interview, I can tell that family is something that's very important to you. It's your anchor and it's your rock.
Yes. We use that to focus that, I'm doing this to make sure that they can have the life that they want, and very happy to see all three of them, our kids, be at that level of success. And so it's a good feeling.
Absolutely. So in a moment, I know you have an invitation for our listeners. In fact, you have a gift for our listeners, and I'm going to share that with them for you. But in general, what is one action or one thing you would want our listeners to do as soon as they finish streaming this within the next minute or two?
Well, I would say the first thing is, if you haven't written a business plan for your business, to sit down and do that. Even if it's a very short description, who, what, where, how, and why. But the other one, if you have a plan, pull it out, review it. Chances are you haven't reviewed it in a while. That seems to be the common denominator I run into is, I got it. It's over here collecting dust someplace. So if you haven't got one, create it. If you have one, review it.
It's funny. I'll just tell 30 seconds brief personal anecdote about this. I'm closing in on the 2-year mark since we launched the podcast Reach System. And we're now at the point where we're going back to the foundations of the Reach System. We're creating other Reach systems. and the strategization for the next steps in expanding that brand horizontally, I'm writing down some of these ideas, concepts, things we want to do. And I went back and looked at my podcast reach system notes when I designed that model almost 2 years ago. And some of these things I'm just thinking of now, well, I thought of them 2 years ago. But the thing took off so quickly, we just didn't cover all those steps. So what's great about your system is it allows somebody, without having to overanalyze it, to capture those things that are so essential and give them that anchor point that they can go back to later on when they're looking to either adjust their course or plot the next leg of their journey. With that, I have your gift for our audience. For those who are watching this on our companion YouTube channel or on our website, you can see it on your screen right now. Otherwise, in the show notes, and I'm going to say it out loud, it's www.businessplan.answerman.com. That's www.businessplan.answerman.com. And when you visit that webpage, what you're going to get is the opportunity to claim your free copy of David Brown's book, which is called How to Create a Business Plan Lenders Will Love. And you also get chapter 1 from another book, which is called From the Bottom Up. And that's another book that actually David was a contributor to. Actually, no, Dave, I think that was your book, wasn't it?
That was my first book, yes.
Exactly, From the Bottom Up, which is the ultimate guide for business planning to profitability. So here you have 2 great resources that are focused on helping you chart the fastest path to the cash. So again, that's www.businessplan.answerman.com. Go check it out today. And with that, David Brown, thank you so much for being with us. It has been an honor, and believe me, an education.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast.